Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Apex Racing TV. You join us here this evening for round three of the BSR MX5 Monday Cup here at Imola. My name, as always, alongside me is Marco Valbanera on the cameras and also on the commentary duties. And also, I have to say, Marco, it's great to be here as always. And Imola, it's a fantastic track, especially in the MX5. And yeah, a bit of an apologies for muddling my words there. I just about coughed, so I had to stop. But yeah, Marco, it's great to be at this track.
Absolutely, it's great to be here. Hello, everyone. And I'm always very happy when we have the chance to broadcast from an Italian track. It makes me feel like even though in a virtual way, the host for the night. And Imola is the Italian track on iRacing where I have been because I've never been to Monza, unbelievably. So yeah, it's Imola. It's the new Imola. Been changed for quite a while, but it's still new to me. And three races, so a triple header tonight with these amateur MX5 drivers in the BSR series, and they will be put to the test, I think, Ryan. This is a track where it's incredibly tough to pass. So this means that these guys will have to really think like a pro, and pick their spot for the overtakes. If you go and rush and try to make a move, for example, at the first chicane when you don't have enough space, it can really go wrong for you and the guy you are trying to pass. We know that the draft is strong in this car, and this will be important because otherwise this is a very tough track to pass in with, not a lot of straights where you can really take the draft. So I think the coming out of the second Rivazza corner will be crucial. If you want to make an overtake, stay behind the car that you want to pass and hope that you get enough space to throw the car on the inside when you come to the Tamburello chicane.
Yeah, absolutely. Imola is one of those tracks. It always seems to produce these great racing with the MX5. I know I've done some official races around here in the MX5 last season, I think it was, and just the racing, it's just absolutely terrific. And even if you weren't the quickest or you didn't qualify well, if you stuck with a pack and you got a good run on the exit of a final corner, you could always try and make a move on someone heading down into turn one. But yeah, it's a bit. It's one of those tracks that there is some places that you can make a move, but it's kind of you've got to be right behind someone to make it.
You know, Ryan, good for these drivers that there will be, overcast weather at least as Jets Banks gets a temporary pole for Fury Simsport. Here he comes. It's good for these guys that there is overcast weather. This will mean, of course, a little bit more grip. At least in this first race, we don't know what the weather will be like in race 2 and race 3. Dale Benison coming on the start finish line doesn't improve his time. John Moore also coming out of the final Rivazza corner, a privateer if I'm not mistaken, but I might be wrong, but judging by his livery, he could be a privateer, should be a privateer, comes to the start finish line, which is, as I always say, right here where the track makes that little dogleg on the front stretch. So back in the day, it used to be just as you came out of the Variante Bassa, which is something that I really didn't understand. Same as in Magny-Cours, if you remember, the start-finish line is right after the chicane. I really don't get why some racetrack. There must be a reason why some tracks have it like this. Also, Monza, the finish line is coming out of Parabolica, whereas the start line is at the end of the pits, basically. So I have no idea why this is in some tracks. The track, my local track, Vallelunga, is start and finish line are the same. So I don't have the chance to ask that to the race director when I go there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Imola it's still one of my favourite tracks, but it's kind of since they've changed that chicane or moved that final chicane, it's kind of it's ruined that nostalgic feeling for me anyway. But some people might agree and some people might disagree. But yeah, I guess it's like that old saying goes: you've got to get with the times, and times change.
Yes, exactly. As we I'm a bit surprised that I don't think that we have the motorcycle chicane in iRacing. I mean, it's there. I don't think that there is a configuration, but I might be wrong because that, as Eaglestone gets sixth place, just at the final in the final minute of qualifying, that could have even for if just a little, give us back the feeling of that final chicane, even though it's less iconic and a little bit forward compared to where the old chicane was. As here comes Andy Maxwell, is sitting in P4 right now. Will he improve himself? I don't think so, but still P4 is a very very nice starting spot. In front of him is Edward May for Fury Simsport, sitting in 4th place. Coming out of the final corner, I think he has a teammate in Dan Blake trying to give him a good tow. Doesn't seem like a particularly quick lap from May, but we'll see here as he comes on the start finish line. 206.1, 205.0, sorry. So he improves, but he's still in P3, so that will be that for him. And I think Ryan, we just have a few other drivers left on the track, but I don't think that any of them is in a quick lap, so we just wait for the session to switch over, and then we will be ready to go through the starting grid of the first race.
Yep, absolutely. Once qualifying switches, once the session switches over, I should say, to the race, we'll take you through the grid. But I have to say, Marco, last week at Spa, I believe it was, it was just great racing in every race, and yeah, there was some fantastic racing as well. Some people unfortunately just got caught up in incidents when they were doing well, but yeah, it was nevertheless it was still fantastic racing at Spa, and I think tonight at Imola, especially with the home straight and that slipstream effect, we should be in for more of the same.
Absolutely, absolutely. Steve Cooley is not on a quick lap. As for the pit lane, Dale Bennison, his teammate, also there. We have 17 drivers signed up for the race. 2 of them didn't post a qualifying time, Ryan Oliver and Thomas Derbyshire, two newcomers, if I'm not mistaken, to the series. So they will start from the back. And now, Ryan, we can go through the official starting grid for race 1.
Absolutely, as the grid's up on your screen right now, and yeah, Jez Banks takes pole position for the first race of the evening. Alongside him is Carl Hardy for Result Clothing, Edward May for Fury Simsport in third place, Andy Maxwell alongside him in fourth, and then alongside them is McBarry, James Eaglestone again, James Eaglestone for Fury Simsport in sixth. Seventh place is Alex Rivette for Year One Racing, Ralph Cullinan in eighth place. Ninth place is Martin Sampson. And then David Ayers rounds out the top 10. Alongside him is John Moore, Steve Cooley in 12th for Year 1 Racing. 13th is Dale Bennison. 14th is Simon Watton. 15th place is Dan Blake. 16th is Ryan Oliver. And rounding out the grid, and in last place is Thomas Derbyshire.
Yes, so like I said, 17 drivers on the starting grid. We are waiting for a few of them. Of course, Dan Blake will start from the pits, being a pro driver, getting some training for tomorrow in the MX5 Pro Series, which it will be, of course, at Imola on the iRacing Esports Network, where you can also catch the World GT having a special event endurance race from Daytona right now on the iRacing Esports Network, brought to you by Apex Racing TV. So I think you can put on both at the same time, which would be the best solution possible, I think, because there are going to be some fireworks there in Daytona and some fireworks here in Imola. As we are 20 seconds away, hello to all the viewers, Graham Sesford, Anthony Ainsworth, Mick Barry, who I think is also racing and watching the stream at the same time, so doing some nice multitasking, starting in 5th for Resort Clothing, and I think we're ready to go.
Absolutely, as we're just waiting for the lights to come on, and we should be on the way with the first race of the evening. And here's the lights, and the lights are just about to go out, and we'll be on the way for race 1 now. As Jez Banks gets a great start off the line, Carl Hardy also gets a good start off the line as well, and kind of gets a run on him heading into turn 1. The Fury Simsport teammate Edward May is in third. As they head down to turn 1, will they get it? Oh, Edward May around the outside into turn 1. What a fantastic
What a move from Edward May, and he gets all the way from third to first, as we had a couple of spinners in the back. I think one of them was David Ayres. The cars go to the Villeneuve chicane. Andy Maxwell passing Mick Barry, and now I think also Alex Rivetti is fancying his chances. We will go back to that moment there, and we are also Ralph Cullinan making his debut in the series, if I'm not mistaken, for Result Clothing. Of course. Oh, some contact there. Eaglestone, and I think that was Alex Rivette. Oh, that was a very, very unfortunate crash there, and Alex Rivette is crabbing wildly.
Yeah, that was just unfortunately, I think it was just a racing incident. The Rivette just got sideways, and Eaglestone had nowhere to go but into the back of Rivette.
Oh, Edward May is off.
Oh, May's off.
The race leader goes off at Acque Minerali, and from first down to sixth with, I'd imagine, a sizable slowdown to boot. So from hero to zero, we could say, for poor Edward May. As also we have some trouble there in the back, 3 wide as they go to the Variante Alta. Usually doesn't work. Samson has to really slow down on the curve there. And here comes David Ayres trying to make a comeback after spinning in the very first corner of the race. So after all of this, the pole sitter, Jazz Banks, will lead the first lap, something that seemed impossible just a few seconds ago. And Carl Hardy starts second and is second after the first lap. Behind them, a group of drivers, Maxwell, Barry, Cullinan, and Edward May also there in P6. So I dare to go and take a look at the start once again. And this is from David Ayres' perspective.
Yeah, I have to say that was a fantastic move around the outside from Edward May into turn one. He absolutely went round. I think he went round the outside of Carl Hardy as well, and also Jez Banks into turn one, and it was just, yeah, that was a fantastic move.
Take a look at that. So his teammate Banks was covering on the inside, and there's some contact there, and you can see that is Samson spinning, and then David Ayres didn't spin. I just went there for avoiding action, as we have Maxwell taking a detour through the gravel at Villeneuve. John Moore pointing in the wrong way at Tosa. Always tricky when you rejoin there, and he is back on the track. We have 2x2 here between quite a bunch of drivers, as Eaglestone, Watton, 3 wide. Oh man.
Yeah, all three of them managed to make it through the corner in one piece, and amazingly, there was no contact.
I mean, fantastic driving there. Speaking of Acque Minerali, other than being my favorite corner by name in all of the racing world, it's so beautiful to say it. Oh, slow down for Hardy. For Banks, sorry. And Hardy takes the lead.
Banks has got a slowdown, so yeah, that slowdown means that Carl Hardy moves into the lead for Result Clothing, and also not far behind Jez Banks is Mick Barry, who has closed that gap, who's gone by him, and Banks is losing heaps of time.
Yes, the dreaded... Oh, both himself and Barry are wide there. Ralph Cullinan gained 4 places, some damage on the front end of his car. Of course, we remember him in the BSR Grand Tour series when he was driving his BMW Blue Flag Racing, which also I think got made, or the Porsche maybe got made by Simortal in a very, very beautiful model that you can see on the Simortal Facebook page. Ralph Cullinan, I think, a very, very nice addition to the championship. Not always the most spectacular driver, but he's super reliable, and I think that the Result Clothing are very, very happy to have him on board, because he's one of the guys that can always get that good finishing position in any race, always keeping the car clean. I mean, as much as you can in an MX5 race, because he has some damage there, but sitting in 4th place, so doing a very nice job so far. As we go back to the top, so his Result Clothing 1 and 2, Jazz Banks will be furious trying to get back into the lead, no pun intended, as he's trying to get past Mick Barry for P2.
Yeah, absolutely. That was it was really unlucky for Jez Banks. He had a decent start, and I think he might have just took too much of the left side curb in the second chicane, and unfortunately got a slowdown, which allowed Carl Hardy into the lead and also Mick Barry to close on him and take second. But Jez Banks has managed to regain that position, but Mick Barry is not letting him get away.
So Banks up to second place. Of course, important for these guys to remain on the lead lap if they want to get the reverse grid. I'm seeing some drivers in the back, Alex Rivette, Andy Maxwell, fighting to stay on the lead lap. So looked for a second like Mick Barry could have responded to Banks' overtake at Rivazza 1, another decent passing opportunity, but the road there goes down the hill, so it is deceptively easy to miss your braking marker and then go straight into the gravel trap there. Banks 204.9, fastest lap of the race, but now from Edward May 204.4 as they brake hard for the Tamburello, and behind them there is some battling as well, with May getting past Cullinan for P4. So Edward May, another driver who's really pushing hard. Those are not very long races, these ones, but I think he still has time to go and maybe fight for a podium position.
Yeah, absolutely. As he gets by Ralph Cullinan, and I think this is where Edward May has to really put the hammer down. No pun intended for any Lewis Hamilton fans, but he needs to get the foot down and start putting in some hot laps to try and catch up to these top three guys in front of him, and possibly try and wrestle a contact.
How that didn't end in disaster, I have no idea. But Banks and Berry live to tell the tale as they go down to Acque Minerali. That was a very, very risky moment for both of them, and they are sporting a little bit of damage there as Ayers gets past Cullinan, the two Result Clothing teammates there. So Cullinan down in P7. They have Steve Cooley in front of them. Let's go back to this battle here. Now, after that contact, seems like Mick Barry had to lift a little bit. Oh man, I'm completely smashed by my marshalling work yesterday. And since the sun was at an angle for the entire day, half of my face and my right arm are burned, and the left side is basically, in a normal color. So, the same goes for my neck. So I'm a bit, when you stay too much under the sun, you lose a little bit of your sanity, they say, no? So.
As we just look back up at the front as well, and Carl Hardy is still leading, but Jez Banks is starting to close that gap on him, and it's I don't think it'll be too long before Jez Banks is possibly gets by Carl Hardy, but Carl Hardy's not an easy guy to get by, but looking at the pace of Jez Banks, he's not hanging around.
He's not, as we ride on board with him at the at Villeneuve chicane as they go into the Tosa hairpin. Hard braking here. Then they go up the hill trying to find all that runoff area, the little extra space after the curb on the right as they go up the hill to the Piratella corner. A few years ago, this track was used, if I'm not mistaken, to stage the end of a stage of the Tour of Italy, and they had like a few laps around the track, and it really put the riders to the test because it's a very, very undulating circuit, this one. And also a few years later they did a stage that ended at Mugello circuit, and they did a couple of laps of the Mugello track as well. So we love our cycling here in Italy, and Banks is really, really closing in on Carl Hardy as we hit the 10-minute mark, 15 minutes the scheduled distance, Ryan, so we have only 5 minutes left.
Absolutely, as Jez Banks has absolutely closed the gap on Carl Hardy in no time, and I have to say, I think if Jez Banks can get a good exit on the exit of the final corner. You could get a good run on Carl Hardy heading down his home straight, and we know how good the slipstream is. As Jez Banks is quickly closing on Carl Hardy, and I think he'll have a run on Carl Hardy as they head down to turn one. And Jez Banks, it looks like, is trying to go for a move, and he's up the inside as they head down to the first corner.
Hardy makes it look so easy as he gets the lead of the race. Gotta be careful around that curve there. You can really be sent flying through the air if you hit those speed bumps there. So now in the lead of the race is the Fury Sim Sport driver, but
Hardy's up the inside.
Hardy sends it in Villeneuve chicane and gets back to the lead. What a nice battle.
That was a fantastic move. Carl Hardy was not letting Jez Banks get away. As soon as he got a run on him, as soon as he got a run in the exit of turn one and turn two, turn one and turn two, he just decided to send it.
Meanwhile, Edward May is closing in on Mick Barry, so we'll keep a close tab on that battle as well. As I think we have this lap and one more probably left in the race. We'll keep you up to date. I was saying about this Acqua Minerali corner, the exit of the corner especially really catches out some of the most experienced drivers. I remember a few weeks ago, a round of the Euro V8s where several drivers spun there. It's really a tricky corner. If you go wide just a bit, on the left side you get a big slowdown. As Edward May, side by side with Mick Barry, who may have gotten a slowdown, or maybe not. I don't think he got a slowdown, but good move there from Edward May, and he gets the position back on the podium and back where he started in P3.
Absolutely, as I think we're just about to. I think we've either got one more lap to go, or we've got one more lap after this one to go, or two more laps to go. I think as across the line, and Jez Banks has got a running Carl Hardy up, and he's up the other side again as they head down to turn one. And I wonder if we'll see a repeat of Banks taking the lead, but Hardy taking it back into the second set of the left and right corners. I keep forgetting what names they are, which is bad of.
Yeah, coming out of the Tamburello now and heading into Villeneuve. Hardy seems to have another good run. Banks is defending on the inside this time. Will he get a clean run through the chicane? Apparently he can. Then goes a little bit wide coming out of Villeneuve. But now he has the first position and will try to pull away. Not going to be an easy task because Hardy is definitely up for the fight. Behind them, May is pulling away from Mick Barry, but I think, Ryan, the battle for the win is between these two guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just looking back, Edward May and Mick Barry are just kind of they're not far behind, but they're not close enough at the same time. So, yep, I think this battle for the win will be between Jez Banks and Carl Hardy, and yeah, it's hard to predict who'll win this race because they're so close. Just seems to be if you can't get away from the car behind you, they're basically going to pass you again. But I think if Carl Hardy can get a good exit onto the home straight, I think we're heading into the final lap next time by. So yeah, Carl Hardy has to take a chance if he gets a run on the home straight to try and make a move into turn one. I think that's the only chance he'll get.
It's gonna be close with the clock. I think when it's really close, iRacing gives an extra lap just to be safe. And I think this will be the case as we come out of Rivazza 2 with 20 seconds left. So yes, white flag is in the air right now. One more lap for these guys. Good run from Hardy. Will he get enough slipstream in order to try and go for a move at the first chicane?
Absolutely, I think Carl Hardy's got a great run on Jez Banks. I think if Carl Hardy, if he's up there inside, I think it looks like he's going to try and go for it into turn one. He's up there inside.
He makes it stick. Can he defend going through Villeneuve? Let's see. From his gearbox camera, he seems like he had a good run through the chicane. Should be able to defend. the first position. Banks doesn't force the issue. Now he needs to put all the pressure he can on Hardy if he wants to respond to this attack. What a fantastic way to open this evening of racing, Ryan. Fantastic battle for the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. As just in the background as well, Edward Mayer's caught up to this battle quite quickly, and Mick Barry's not far behind either. So yeah, a four-car battle for the win, a four-car battle for the win, I should say, on the final lap. But Mick Barry's just fallen back a little bit from Edward May, so I'll take that back. I think it could be a three-car battle for the win, but yeah, I think if Carl Hardy can just hold on for the final few corners, he should have this one in the bag. But don't rule out Jez Banks, because yeah, we know how quick Jez is, and if Jez Banks can get a good run in the exit of the final corner, he could just snatch this one at the line.
He needed, I think, one more lap, Edward May, and this goes to show how costly that first, second lap slowdowns are as they go for the final time in race 1 through the Rivazza corners.
Absolutely, as I head down to the final few corners, Carl Hardy is still in the lead, but Jez Banks is not giving up, and neither is Edward May, but Cal Hardy gets a great run off the final corner, and I think he's going to hold on for this one. And it looks like Cal Hardy's going to hold on, and yeah, Cal Hardy takes the one in race two as they head up to the line. But yep, Cal Hardy just holds on for the one in race one. Fantastic racing at the front.
It was a fantastic race. What a way to kick off the evening here in Imola, as the other drivers are coming through, and we see now James Eagleston in 10th, Simon Watton behind him. Let's see who is on the lead lap. I think everyone who started, including Alex Rivette, I have no idea how, will be able to finish on the lead lap, if I'm not mistaken, and this means that all of these drivers will be eligible for the reverse grid. So as per usual, we give a little bit of camera time to the guys who are still on the racetrack while we prepare to spin that wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think once everyone crosses the line and the race finishes, we should be able to take you through the results. But I have to say, Marco, that was a great way to kick off the evening here at Imola. And as always, race one, or yeah, the MX5s in general, just keep producing great racing.
Absolutely, it was a very, very nice way to kick off the evening. As here comes Moore. We should have Maxwell, here he comes, and Rivette, two Year 1 Racing teammates. Finishing 15 and 16, in 14th and 15th with the two drivers, Thomas Derbyshire and Ryan Oliver. They did not take the start. And here are the drivers coming back to the start-finish line in their parade lap, as we can guide you through the race results for race 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Is just waiting for the results to come up on screen, and we will take you through the results for race one. So yeah, Carl Hardy just takes the one, I should say, from Jez Banks in second place. Third place is Edward May to make it a Fury Sound Sport second and third. Mick Barry with a great result in fourth place, and Ralph Collin in fifth. Sixth place is David Ayres. Seventh place is Steve Cooley. Eighth place is Martin Sampson. Ninth is Dan Blake. The 10th is James Eaglestone to round out the top 10. Simon Watson finishes in 11th. 12th is Dale Benison. 13th is John Moore. 14th is Andy Maxwell. 15th is Alex Rivette. 16th is Ryan Oliver. 17th is Thomas Derbyshire. And I don't think anyone else finished the grid, or that's basically I think 17 cars we had in that race. So yeah, that's the results of race one, and also don't forget the World GT Championship is currently running at the moment, which you can catch on the iRacing Esports Network, and also being broadcast by Apex Racing TV. So yeah, me and Marco's going to go for a commercial break, but don't forget to come back for the second race of the evening in just a few moments time.
But before that, same thing as last week, Ryan. You want to rid me of the joy of the reverse wheel, and I'm so happy that we have the reverse wheel this season in the MX5 Monday Cup. And so, before we go to a much-needed commercial break, we have to spin that wheel, and it should be on your screen right now. Remember, -2, -3, and -4 equal to a full reverse. -1 is full -1, and the rest of the numbers are equal to the number that it's shown on the screen. So let's roll it. And so it's going to be full -1, which means that Andy Maxwell will start in pole position, John Moore in second, Dale Bennison, Simon Watton, and James Eaglestone will round up the top 5. So poor Alex Rivette will miss out on the pole and start instead in P15 for race 2, Ryan. So looks like a very, very tasty second race is getting ready for us because all the top runners will start basically from the back of the pack.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I think since we've done the reverse grid wheel, we'll go. Me and Marco will go and take a short commercial break, but don't forget to come back and watch race 2 in just a few moments' time. But yeah, as I said, make sure to check out the World GT broadcast at Daytona just to keep you occupied for a wee while. So we'll be back in a few moments' time.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Apex Racing TV for race 2 of the evening here at Imola in the BSR MX5 Monday Cup. And as you see, the grid is up on screen right now, which we'll take you through. Pole position goes to Andy Maxwell. Second is John Moore. Third place is Dale Benison. Fourth place is Simon Wotton. Alongside him is James Eaglestone. Sixth place is Dan Blake, but he'll be starting from the pits since he's a pro driver. Seventh place is Martin Sampson. Eighth place is Steve Cooley. Ninth place David Ayres. 10th place is Ralph Connon, 11th place is Mick Barry, 12th place is Edward May, 13th place is Jez Banks, 14th is Carl Hardy, and rounding out the grid is Alex Rivette in 15th place.
Yes, we are ready to go. And yeah, here come the lights.
As the lights just come on, and we're just waiting for the lights to go out, and we'll be underway with race 2. As Andy Maxwell gets a great start off the line. Also, so does Simon Wotton has a great start. Third place. There's contact in the background.
It was yeah, I
one of
think
the
that, yeah, it was maybe James Eaglestone, yes, having some contact with Martin Sampson and Steve Cooley also, I think was... Sampson lost the car!
That was Martin Sampson, and unfortunately had nowhere to go. As one of the result clothing cars is off, and also one of the year one racing cars is hit the wall and blew an engine.
Man, what a tough day for Alex Rivette. He is off once again with a problem in the first lap, first corner, if that, and also Ralph Karin and that Martin Sampson, and I think one other car was involved in that mess. After all of this, Andy Maxwell, still your race leader, John Moore, still second place, James Eaglestone up 2 places, then Simon Wotton and Steve Cooley, your top 5.
I have to say, Marco, that was a bit of a it was a chaotic start to race 2. Just mayhem everywhere in the first few corners.
Yes, we will go to the replay very, very soon, as we see now John Moore defending from James Eaglestone at the Variante Alta on the inside. Ooh. The Fury Simsport driver, and Moore will be tagged with a big slowdown here.
Yeah, there's a slight bit of contact between the two year one racing cars as they were side by side. So, as Steve Cooley tries to go up the inside of James Eaglestone, and can't get the move done, unfortunately. But that's allowed one of the other Fury Simsport cars with Edward May to close right up behind him, and behind May is a year one racing car of Simon Wotton.
It's all happening here with Eaglestone, Cooley, May and Wotton scrambling, fighting for position as Maxwell 3.5 seconds in front of this quartet of drivers here as they go to the Tamburello for the second time, with May trying to put on a move on Cooley, almost hitting his teammate. Nice work on the brakes there, and a little bit of bravery needed there from May. He made it work, and he's up to P3. So year 1, Fury Simsport, year 1 and year 1, your top 5, the 2 teams that really have worked hard last season and really came to the forefront in the previous season of this championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams have done a good job. They've done a good job from towards the end of last season, and also they've carried that momentum into the new season, and both teams have been doing a good job so far, and they're doing well in the championship. Is currently still leading at the moment, and got about a 4.5 second gap. Current leader at the moment is Andy Maxwell, who's managed to increase and make a bit of a gap, while other people behind him have been having issues and getting tripped up amongst each other. So yeah, Andy Maxwell has just said, "See you later, boys."
Yeah, Alex Rivette trying to make the magic work once again. In race 1, he had to come to the pits and managed to stay on the lead lap in order to be eligible for the reverse, as James May is putting pressure on his teammate as they go down to the first Rivazza corner, and Edward May, who I can say was the quickest driver in last race, trying to get, back a win that I think he, don't say it was a slam dunk, but he could have been in the hunt for the race victory. He was third in the end. But that big slowdown really penalized him earlier in the night. Maxwell 06.5, 06.2 for May, so he is not wasting any time. 10 places gained. So far, the biggest mover of the race, Edward May.
Yeah, I just have probably a bit off topic, but did I hear you, Marco, say calling James Eaglestone James May?
Could have been possible. Very possible. I'm surprised I didn't say that earlier. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I just noticed it, and
Hopefully, no one else noticed.
oh, that made me laugh. I
Oh,
feel
man.
bad.
He is my favorite one of the three guys of Grand Tour, so might be why.
Oh, that was
Oh,
funny.
John Moore
Oh,
is around.
John Moore's having issues.
Yeah, big issues. Replay of that very quickly. Clipping the grass at Tosa. Then saving, then wide again. Man, it's a spin that
Oh.
never stopped, basically. As we have Steve Cooley pointing in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to Steve Cooley. I wonder if he had judging by the front end of his car, he might have had contact with someone, possibly.
That was coming out of Piratella and down into Acqua Minerale, no, all on his own.
Oh, he
And-
just hit the wall by himself.
Big side hit there.
It's an easy mistake to do in that corner or on the exit of that corner. If you take too much exit curve on the outside, and it can. I've done it myself. It can spin the rear wheels up, and you're just a passenger.
Yeah, one thing that we can say about this track is that despite being a modern racetrack, as Banks goes very wide there. I don't know if he will get. No, that is not the exit of Variante Alta, so not a slowdown. But this is a track that, despite being modern and changed a lot since the 90s, has really taken as no Watton is going very slowly there, I think. As it's a track that really punishes your mistakes. So very few tarmac runoff areas. You see grass, gravel all around. Those walls are certainly close to the track in many places. So it's really a track that punishes you for those mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Imola is one of those tracks. It's a fantastic track, but as you say, Marco, if you make a mistake, it can punish you. It can punish you, and it can punish you big time. As we look back up at the front with second and third place, the two Fury Sport team. I have to say, Marco, it might just be me, but they seem to be closing that gap pretty quickly on Andy Maxwell in front of them.
You are not mistaken, the gap is now 1.5 seconds, and if I can bring on the screen the time delta between first and second place, you can see that it's not working, because it's from the last 5 laps, we only had 3, so now it should work. Let's try this again. Still not working, fantastic. So, but you can see it quite clearly. Here comes the duo, the taco train, very small taco train tonight, as Andy Maxwell really got a bad exit out of Variante.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Apex Racing TV and also the middle of race 2. Yeah, apologies if we were offline for some reason. It seems that we were having a bit of technical difficulties with the streaming software that we use. So yeah, many apologies to anyone that's watching. And yeah, but we're back live now and back into the middle of race 2. But yeah, a few moments ago there was issues with the leader, as you can see in the replay. And yeah, it looks like Edward May and Andy Maxwell had a bit of a coming together, battling for the lead, and that's allowed James Eaglestone for Fury Simsport into the lead, and also, yeah, just managed to pick up the pieces while his teammate and Andy Maxwell got caught up, Marco, which is unfortunate.
Yes, yes, very, very sad that we missed that event, so I'm sorry. Hopefully the replay makes up for that. And that, also because of it may rid us of a nice battle for the race win, even though Andy Maxwell only 1.5 seconds back from James Eagleston. Mick Barry now is in third, then we have Jess Banks and Edward May. David Ayers, Ralph Cullinan, Carl Hardy, Dan Blake, the pro driver, and Simon Watton. This is your top 10 as we are already, I don't believe I am saying this, in the 11th minute of this race. So flying by this race too as well. Once again, the drivers greeted by some nice overcast weather, which really helps a lot with more grip, less tire wear. And let's see once again what happened there in that crash that we had between the two leaders at the time.
Yeah, so it looks like Edward May had a good run in the exit of turn one, and it was I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Marco. What would you say? Do you think Maxwell could have left some room, or did Edward May stick his car in a gap that was just becoming smaller and smaller?
I hate to say this, but I think it was a 50-50 kind of crash, Uh, both drivers, I think, have their responsibility there. In the end, they both had to pay the price. I mean, Maxwell is still there in second place, as Mick Barry went very wide coming out of Acque Minerali, so maybe we'll get a slowdown. Edward May trying to pull a move on Jess Banks, so despite that big off, his car has got some scratches here and there, but it seems to be still working. And Edward May, once again, I have to add, in a position to fight for the race win and having issues along the way, and now back, trying to at least get back on the podium, and the podium is 1.9 seconds in front of him, right there on the 675 car. Mick Barry is the guy that May is trying to get to, as James Eaglestone starts a new lap, and I think once again we will have this lap and one more, because we are very, very close with the clock, like it was in race 1. Andy Maxwell gets his fastest lap of the race, 2:06.0, but still slower than James Eagleston, 2:05.9. Mick Barry also getting his personal best in. Edward May lapping fastest of them all. Oh, sorry, no. Ralph Cullinan is the fastest on the track right now, 2:05.8.
Absolutely. As we're just looking at our leader James Eaglestone at the moment, but looking in the background, Marco, Andy Maxwell, he's starting to close that gap slightly on the James Eaglestone, and I think we could be on for another battle for the win that goes right down to the last lap.
Looking at his onboard, it seems like his car is okay, which is, I mean, that both his car and May's car are okay after that contact is quite surprising, considering how delicate the MX5 is. So good for both of them that their car seems to be holding up. Now after that, Maxwell seemed to add, maybe, it's tough to find your concentration once again after a big scare like that. He lost a bit on Eaglestone after the crash, but now seems to be back pushing. Of course, you will need to be perfect, because 1.6 seconds is not a gap that you can close quickly in one lap, so he needs some help, I think, from Eaglestone there at the front of the pack. Also, Edward May is closing in on Mick Barry, 0.8 of a second. And let's see, I'm 100% sure that we will have one more lap.
Absolutely. As first and second come round the final corner to come across the start finish line and start the final lap of the race. Looking at the gap at the moment between Eaglestone and Maxwell, I think if all Eaglestone has to do is just keep it on track and hit every corner and just get to the finish, and he should, if hopefully I don't jinx him, he should have the win in race 2 in the bag, possibly.
May really pushing hard. half a second away from Mick Barry, who made a little bit of a mistake coming out of the Rivazza corner. 1.4 seconds the gap at the front of the field, as we have a very, very excited dog for the end of this second race. Really, I think punctuating the action even more, and really conveying the drama, I imagine, of this second race of the day. Seems like Mick Barry is in for a tough fight against Edward May.
Yeah, absolutely. As Edward May tries to make a move up the inside of Mick Barry, but Mick Barry shuts the door on him, and yeah, I think I think if Edward May gets a chance of going for the move, he'll try and go for it. But yeah, I have to say,
Oh,
Marco, I
Barry's
think
wide.
Barry's wide.
Not what you need. If you need, every tenth of a second matters in this final lap. May sideways getting into Acque Minerali. He has a great exit here. I think he can go for a move into the Rivazza corner. He will throw the car there, I imagine, and we might see a last lap overtake from May to get the final podium position.
Absolutely.
Oh no, I jinxed him.
May's around.
Terrible on my part. Edward May is around and is losing several places. He should rejoin in front of Dan Blake. No, Dan Blake goes past him. And so we turn our attention, Ryan, to James Eaglestone.
Yep, James Eaglestone comes around the final corner and onto the home straight. And yep, James Eaglestone is going to take the win in race 2. Not far behind him is Andy Maximum in second. A great drive by Andy. And yeah, just waiting for Mick Barry to come across the line as well and to take a well-deserved podium. And yeah, Mick Barry crosses the line. Jez Banks and Ralph Collin are going on to who took fourth place? That was Jez Banks, just taking fourth place at the line from Ralph Collin in fifth place. And then
May, what could have been, finishes in P9th or immediately toes back to the pit. So frustration, I think, for him. He knows he had potentially 2 wins. Could have had 2 wins in his pocket today at this point, and he has nothing to show for his great effort in both race 1 and race 2. So he will try his best, I think, in race 3 to try and get a good result to finish off the evening. Steve Cooley.
possibly out of fuel.
That car is either he's waiting for his teammate Alex Rivette. I think everyone will finish on the lead lap, so we might have a big reverse. Or he knows that they show a lot of the cars that are still on the track after the race and is getting some TV time for his sponsors. We will have to ask him, I think, after the race. Okay, no, he's waiting for his teammate to give him a push. Hopefully they don't wreck, because it's so easy to turn around an MX5 given their round rear side. Where is Martin Sampson? He is coming out of the Rivazza corner. He shouldn't be able to make it. Let's see. So Rivette takes the position. Does Cooley have enough of a run? Here comes Sampson. Let's go to the chopper. Oh, Cooley makes it with ease, more or less. Oh man! And he has to avoid a couple of race cars there in what was a very thrilling finish for P14. And so, I think, Ryan, we can go to through the final race results of race 2.
Indeed, as just waiting for the results to pop up on screen, and then we'll take you through them as they are up on screen now. Yes, James Eaglestone takes a fantastic and well-deserved victory in race 2. Andy Maxwell doesn't finish far behind him in second place. Mick Barry takes a terrific third place to round out the top 3. Fourth place is Jez Banks, just taking fourth from Ralph Collin in fifth. David Ayres is in sixth. Dan Blake at seventh. Eighth place is Carl Hardy. Ninth place is Edward May. Dale Berison rounds out the top 10. 11th place, I should say, is Simon Watton. 12th place is John Moore. At 13th place is Alex Rivette. Steve Cooley finishes in 14th. And finishing in 15th is Martin Sampson. And I believe that is I believe that was the cars that finished the race. Anyone else that did finish, or
No.
most every car finished in the race. So
Yes.
yeah, happy days.
All that started finished the race, and this means, of course, that all of them will be eligible for the reverse grid. Here comes the wheel on your screen. So let's roll it. Remember, -2, -3, and -4 equal full. -1 is -1. So let's go. And it will be 10. So Dale Bennison will start on pole position. Edward May with a big chance of redemption will start in second. Carl Hardy, Dan Blake will start from the pit, so David Ayres and Ralph Cullinan will round up your top 5 for race 3, which is due to start in just a bit, Ryan.
Absolutely. Yeah, race three is just coming up in a few moments' time. But until then, me and Marco's going to go and take a commercial break just for a few minutes. But yeah, and then we'll be back for the final race of the evening in race three. And yeah, as we said earlier, don't forget that the World GT Championship is currently taking place at Daytona International Speedway, with a 2 hour race. So yeah, if you want something to keep you occupied until we come back, don't forget to check that out on the esports racing, iRacing esports network, I should say. Also being broadcast as well by Apex Racing TV. So yeah, until now, we'll be back in a few moments' time.
Punch it. Great job, you did really well.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Apex Racing TV. You join us for the final race of the evening here at Imola in the BSR MX5 Monday Cup. The grid's up on your screen right now as currently taking pole position, or taking pole position, I should say, for race 3 is Dale Benison. Second place is Edward May. Third place, Cal Hardy. Fourth place, Dan Blake, starting in the pits. David Dares in fifth. Ralph Cullen in sixth. Seventh place, Des Banks. Eighth place is Mick Barry. Ninth place is Andy Maxwell. 10th place is James Eaglestone. 11th place is Simon Watton. 12th place is John Moore. 13th is Alex Rivette. 14th is Steve Cooley. 15th is Martin Sampson. And joining us for the final race of the evening is Scott Malcolm in 16th place. As the grid's just like everyone's just lining up, and also at the moment as well, during the race, we'll take you through the championship the live championship standings that we got after race 2. Once the race gets underway. But race 3 is underway, and Dale Benison gets a great start off the line, but alongside behind them is Carl Hardy in third. They head down to turn 1, and it'll be interesting to see if everyone can make it through without any issues and make it through cleanly. As Edward May goes around the outside into turn 1, and move on the outside of Dale Benison into turn 1. Fantastic stuff.
That's his trademark move tonight. Run the outside for the lead as Simon Watton is behind those trees and not in a happy position because he is down to the penultimate place. Alex Rivette also going very, very slowly. I think he started from the pits. Back to the front then. Edward May, Del Benison, Carl Hardy on the inside. Winner of race 1, trying to fight for another win in race 3.
Absolutely. It looks like most people made it through the first 3 corners in one piece, but we're currently looking up at the front. Now it looks like contact between one of the Fury Simsport and Result Clothing cars behind.
Yeah, I think that was maybe Mick Barry, probably Mick Barry. They are all together, and this is going to be an issue, I think, here at Acque Minerali. And there is a little bit of contact there. Bennison goes wide. Ayers is all out of the racing surface. Hopefully, doesn't get a slowdown. But there's quite a nice train behind Carl Hardy, and like we have seen in oh man.
Oh, Hardy's got to slow down as well. So is Benison, I think.
I mean, like we've seen in race 1, the leader pulls away and all the others, at least in the first few laps, are left to fight out in order to get good track position. The only difference is that in this case, I think Edward May is the quickest driver of the field tonight, so it might prove tough to catch him going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Dale Benson. I mean, Edward May is one of the year one racing cars has had issues, and also Martin Sampson in the background as well.
Yes, something must have happened there between these two guys. Let's get a replay of that from the chopper. So this is Steve Cooley. As John Moore is in the pits, Steve Cooley. Oh, look at that.
Wow. Yeah, Sampson just caught the grass and got sideways under braking, and he was just a passenger. He went ploughing into the side of Steve Cooley.
I mean, I don't think that Cooley was expecting any of this, and that was such a big hit. Very, very unlucky for Steve as he goes back to the pits. Alex Rivette is in. I'm a bit confused because it's showing Alex Rivette 1 lap down. So that's a bit weird. As we have a car pointing in the wrong direction is Jess Banks at Tosa. Lots of smoke coming out of his rear tires there. Andy Maxwell sitting in P4 and trying to get a move on David Ayers, who is in P3 right now. So trying to get some intelligence on what happened to Alex Rivette. Maybe a late tow, and when you tow too late, you get put 1 lap down by iRacing. I have no idea because trying to understand what happened to him, but it's eluding me at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened as we're on board with James Eaglestone trying to make a move into the chicane, trying to make a move on Andy Maxwell, but can't get it done. And Eaglestone lost his momentum a little bit in the exit of the chicane, and looking back up at the 2 leaders as well.
Slow down for David Ayers.
David Ayers has got a slow down, and it's allowed it's allowed James Eaglestone to try and make a move on the outside, and he manages to make it. And the onside David Dares is his teammate Carl Hardy making a move on the inside. I wonder if Hardy might try and use a bit of side draft to try and get by Eaglestone.
As they go almost 3 wide, the two Result Clothing guys, of course, playing it safe. They don't want to crash into each other. So Eaglestone, Hardy. We also have Mick Barry joining the party there.
Yep,
So,
McBarry's
yeah.
trying to make a move on his teammate,
Yeah,
but
so
it then
yeah,
decides to knock him behind.
Eaglestone has been followed by train of Result Clothing cars, and that is of course never easy, an easy thing to do. Raf Kalinan had the fastest lap of the race last time around, 205.5, 206.4 for Edward May. So Kalinan up 4 positions and pushing really hard, trying to get something out of this third race of the season, as now Steve Cooley is back on the lead lap. Sorry, Alex Rivetti is back on the lead lap. Here we go, in 11th position. So something weird must have happened with iRacing live timing, but glad it's all been solved.
That was good to hear as we look up. Excuse me. As David Dares is trying to give James Eaglestone's head into the chicane, but Dares can't get it done. And Eaglestone ends up position, but behind David Dares is his Result Cleveland teammate Carl Hardy and Mick Barry, and also not far behind those three, Scott Malcolm for Team Mad.
Looking at the rear end of Eaglestone's car, looking back at Ayers, Hardy, Barry and Malcolm. May 204.9 responds to Kalinan, and with authority, 1 second gained on second place by the Fury Sim Sports driver. As we go back to the first corner once again, and Eaglestone with his mirror full of the very colorful Result Clothing liveries. There's almost forcing the issue there now, maybe under attack from Carl Hardy. Mick Barry there surveilling the situation. Scott Malcolm, another Result Clothing guy, joining this train. They are, I mean, I don't know, hopefully James Eaglestone, I mean, he had a race win tonight already, so he will sleep well, but that's the stuff of nightmares, I think. You look in the mirror and you have 4 very angry and quick Result Clothing drivers hunting you down in an MX5 race. As the drivers go back to Acque Minerali once again, as trying to re-establish connection with Ryan, who should be back.
Sorry.
Should be, oh no, it is not Ryan's fault, Discord's fault, who is acting up tonight, sadly. So we will hear Ryan when he comes back, because we should hear his voice, of course. Alex Rivette trying to pass his teammate. Hopefully they are on the radio. I think they were, because Rivette takes the position with ease. And back to this train behind James Eaglestone, absolutely put under pressure by the Result Clothing guys, with left side of his car looking a little bit, more than a little bit damaged, I should say. Some scratches on the door, and the hood is a little bit, has seen better days. I think Ryan, no, he's not back. I mean, he is back. He is in the room with me. It's Discord that is not working. So Ryan is absolutely, innocent. As Hardy on the outside, we might have Ryan back.
Yeah, I'm back. Discord's playing up a little bit, so yeah, you might hear me cutting out from time to time, but Yeah, there's battle up at the front still going on between Carl Hardy, James Eaglestone, Mick Barry, and David Ayres, and also now catching up to them is Scott Malcolm.
Yes, I mean, these guys are really putting the pressure on James, and I think now James needs to gather himself back up, because otherwise he risks being passed by all of these resort clothing guys one after the other. Look at now Mick Barry on the outside of his opponent there, and I think probably trying to pull the move into Piratella. Not going to be easy. Just a bit wide
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Barry's wide. Barry's up the inside of it. Oh, I thought Barry was going to make a move up the inside of James Eaglestone, but Eaglestone manages to hold off Barry for manages to hold Barry off for sixth place at the moment. But
as we see the sun setting over the beautiful, beautiful bit of Italy that where Imola is, Emilia Romagna, one of my favorite regions. Beautiful, beautiful places, lots of green, and some fantastic, fantastic food. As Jazz Banks has joined this party as well, so it's a long, long snake of cars. Meat especially is great around here, and of course tortellini. I mean, if you love tortellini, you have to come here.
oh, I love Italian food. But even though it's pretty obvious, I love Italian pizza. It's just fantastic.
So now Mick Barry seems to have the move nailed down on the inside at the Tamburello. Little bit deep on the brakes, but he makes it work. Now, maybe Jess Banks, who just passed Scott Malcolm, might give a hand to James Eaglestone and keep him company, as Eaglestone maybe tries to get a position back, but good defending there from Mick Barry. Whilst at the front, Edward May is pulling away, and you can see on your screen now the gap between the first two places now up to 5.9 seconds, and it has increased basically constantly in the last 3 laps. We had that lap where Cullinan had the fastest lap of the race, and you can see it was there in the second lap, but then really, really pushing hard is May at the front. So he finally could get his win, as Maxwell is around at Acqua Minerali, cutting a big chunk of the track and getting, I fear, a massive slowdown. So Ryan, the battle for the podium might be open once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Issues for Maxwell, and yeah, looks like Maxwell just lost a bit of concentration, possibly made a little mistake, but you can't really afford to do that around Imola around here when you've got a reasonable gap to the cars behind you. If you do that, the cars will be right back on you in no time. But we're currently looking at Cal Hardy as well in fourth, right behind him his teammate Mick Barry. James Eaglestone is trying to make a move up the inside of Mick Barry, and I think this battle for the final podium position, Marco, will probably be going down to the last lap because no one seems to be able to shake each other off as Scott Malcolm runs wide in the grass a little bit in the exit of the final corner.
Couple more laps left in this race. Interesting to note that Carl Hardy wasn't able to pull away from the pack after making the move, and now under pressure from Mick Barry, who takes the inside. Will Hardy fight his teammate? He will, and he gives him a little loft up there into the first chicane. So all bets are off, I'd say, but they really need to work together because they only have a couple of laps left if they want to catch up to Andy Maxwell and fight for that podium spot. And if they get to him, I mean, all of them will get to him. Carl Hardy, Eaglestone, Ayres, Banks, Malcolm going a bit wide, so maybe his chances at a top 5 finish are over. And let's go back to this fight here as Edward May goes wide at Piratella. No damage done. Yeah, let's see how Maxwell now is in a very tough position because he was alone for pretty much the entirety of the race, and now just as a mistake, as Barry really likes to take the alternative line through Piratella. But now Maxwell is for that mistake, his only mistake, although a big one, is under pressure from 5 cars for the third place spot.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys scrapping away amongst themselves. It's given Andy Maxwell breathing room. Sorry, but yeah, I think Maxwell, if he just keeps going and just keeps focused in front of him and doesn't keep looking behind him all the time, I think he should have his podium in the bag. But McBarry is quickly catching up to him and closing the gap. But yeah, I think we've only got one more lap to go, and yeah, if these guys want a podium, they can't afford to hang around.
Jess Banks went past David Ayres as the final lap begins now. Edward May, your race leader. He lost 1 second to Ralph Collison, but he has 5.1 in the bag, so he should be okay. As also the third place driver and all the guys behind him start their final lap of the race, and now it's Carl Hardy on the inside of Mick Barry, so they are the best allies possible. Also, look at that, James Eagleston trying to push for a move on the inside, some contact there. And Mick Barry
Oh, McBarry,
has been disqualified.
Yeah, I think that was a disqualification for Mick, which was unfortunate because he was having a good run. But I think that's gave Andy Maxwell the break that he needs to hold on to this podium position, as the two Fury Simsport cars are in this battle for a P5 or squabbling amongst themselves. But they have to watch because David Ayres from Result Cloven is right behind them.
Yes, nice comeback from Jess Banks, now up to P5. David Ayres trying to pull a move on Eagleston as they go to the Piratella corner for one last time. People very, very deep on the brakes. Side-by-side contact, damage to the front left of Jess Banks. Of Carl Hardy, of course. And back there because Maxwell really, really trying to defend on Carl Hardy, who has one chance, I think, down to Rivazza. Will he be able to make the most out of it and get a podium spot? As they hop on those curves as hard as they can without smashing or cutting the corner. As Jess Banks is around, and that's it for him. And Edward May is going towards a deserved race victory in the end.
Absolutely, a fantastic drive by Edward May. He managed to pull away and build up a gap when other people were squabbling amongst themselves. He's pulled away and took the win, and absolutely well deserved. A great result for Ralph Holland in second place as well. And then Andy Maxwell holds on to take the final podium position in third place, just ahead of Carl Hardy.
Yes, so Edward May gets his win. Ralph Collison, big thumbs up for him. He gets a nice podium today. Here comes all that train of cars. Of course, Jess Banks down to P10. And losing some valuable points, I think, in the race for the title. It's still a long way to go. We are only in the second week. Or third week of the season? I honestly can't remember. It's the third week of the season. There will be 12 rounds. There is still some time left for these guys. Here comes... we have 3 guys missing. Steve Cooley, Martin Sampson and John Moore. Mick Barry has been disqualified, so in the end he will finish in last place. And just like in the other race that we had, in all the other races that we have had tonight, everyone who finished on the lead lap, so we're able to mount a comeback. Alex Rivette, a couple of words for him. He had 2 very unlucky races to start the night. He finishes in a decent P8 this third race and is able to get some points in the bag. As Cooley comes to the start-finish line. Also Scott Malcolm coming in for race 3 gets a very, very nice P7, considered he started all the way back from last place because he didn't take part in race 2. Martin Sampson coming to the finish line, and John Moore also will round up the proceedings tonight here in Imola.
Absolutely, I have to say, Marco, it's been a great evening, and the racing, as always, in this series has been fantastic. In race 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, absolutely! And look at this fantastic shot that we can get of the Fury Sim Sport guys, and as soon as they tow back to the pits. So, I mean, guys, come on. But yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, nice win there for Fury Sim Sport Edward May. I mean, I say he could have had three victories tonight, so he will be a bit dejected by that. But it's always nice to get a race win and go home happy, getting the win in the final race of the season. Speaking of which, of the night, sorry. Speaking of which, here are your race results for race 3.
Absolutely. Results are up on your screen. Edward May takes the final race of the evening from Ralph Collin in second. Rounded at the top three is Andy Maxwell in third. Fourth place is Carl Hardy. James Eaglestone finishes in fifth. David Ayres finishes in sixth. Seventh place was Scott Malcolm. Eighth place is Alex Rivette. Dan Blake finishes in ninth. Rounding at the top 10 is Jez Banks. 11th place is Dale Benison. 12th place is Simon Wotton. 13th place is Steve Cooley. 14th is Martin Sampson. John Mayer finishes in 15th, and Mick Barry unfortunately retired from the race after receiving a disqualification.
Yes, so this will be it for the racing, but we have the interviews left, and I think, Ryan, we can talk to the race 3 winner, Edward May. Hello, Edward.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Doing good? Ryan, take it away.
Thanks, Marco. Yeah, I have to say, Edward, you seem to be on a bit of a roll tonight, and also I think it was you. It was making the passes on the outside into turn one, which I have to say was absolutely fantastic to watch. And yeah, the points wise, it was a good evening for you. How did you find it from your point of view?
From my point of view, it went all right. I mean, for all of the races, I seem to have the pace at some point in the race to have been on for a win. It's just obviously first race I made that mistake and had to claw my way back up from first to down to eighth, then back up to third, which I was happy with. Could have gone worse, I suppose. I think the race two, I was quite close to getting the win in that race. I think I was going for the move, and I guess I can't remember who it was on the outside, but maybe he didn't see me close the door and I end up losing out in that one. But third race was just a beach of a race. It was lovely. Sort of was surprised that I was able to get ahead so quickly and make the gap so fast. But I think the guys behind ended up getting in their own battles while I went around the outside and just just ran off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the race three, I was checking the live timing, and I think at one point, it may correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you had the gap to Ralph Corn, and I think it was up to about probably, excuse me, 10 or 11 seconds, which was just phenomenal. While the other guys were battling behind you.
Yeah, I think I realized at that point that I could just sort of coast it a bit more and just gap manage. So I didn't want to take any unnecessary risks. So obviously the gap would close towards the end, but I wasn't pushing as hard. I don't know if I got the fastest lap at that point, but I was just thinking more about getting the win and getting home because I know I got fastest laps in the first and second race. So I thought, it's fine.
Good stuff. Is there anyone that you want to say thank you to or give a shout out to? Anyone, sponsors, friends, or family, or anything like that?
Not particularly. Just like to give a shout out to everyone who was in that race with me. Obviously, Jez Banks. He had a bit of a tough race, but he did well. We had Dan Blake as well and James Eagleston. We also had Edward Raprager. He was sort of crew chiefing and spotting for some of the guys while we were running. And yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone really in the team. They've given me such a warm welcome and made me feel sort of like I'm able to do as good as I can be. And it shows here. They've helped me to get to the pace I'm at and winning races. Obviously, big thanks to them.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for joining us, Edward, and great results from you tonight. And we look forward to seeing you on track next week.
Yeah, that's all right. You guys have a good one. Ta-ra.
I think Marco, who do you want to take? Do you want to take Jez Banks or Mr. Cooley?
Let's get Steve Cooley back in the broadcast booth. Hello, Steve.
Hello.
So, it seemed from here that it has been a little bit of a tough night for you guys at Tier 1 Racing. I mean, yeah, Andy Maxwell got a podium in the end, but especially Alex was very, very unlucky in the first two races, and then you also were involved in a big crash in the third race. So, You come out of Imola feeling how? Good or a little bit dejected?
I'm a little bit dejected. We were up challenging when we had our offs. We could have done a little bit better. The third race, unfortunately, Samson just touched the grass on the braking, and he's apologised for that, and that's fair play. Fair play to him. Second race, I was running quite well, and right up behind the Fury guys, and managed to spin out myself. So yeah, it's been a tough night for us all, but we'll bounce back next week.
Of course, I mean the season is still very long, so there is absolutely all the time in the world, I imagine, to make up some points. Next week, if I'm not mistaken, as I take a look at the calendar just to be sure, we will be in a very tricky racetrack. Will be Brands Hatch Indy, so a very short lap. And lots of chaos, I think, can be expected, and not many passing opportunities.
No, not at all. But it's one of those races I think we're all going to enjoy because anyone can win it. Anyone can get a place. Just got to stay out of trouble as best you can and keep going round the laps. Bring it home.
Thank you very much, Steve. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
I just want to give a shout out to our driver Anthony Ainsworth and his daughter Aurora, who is just recovering in hospital for an operation. So just everybody at year one would like to wish her to get well soon. We need your daddy back, so get well soon, kid. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Steve, and we join your words
Thanks,
there,
Michael.
and we will catch you next time in Brands Hatch.
We certainly will. Thanks, Marco.
And I think, Ryan, last but not least, we should have a word with Jazz Banks.
Yep, absolutely. Can you hear us, Jess?
I can. Evening, chaps.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. I'm going to spend the rest of the night putting my MX5 back into one piece.
Yeah, I was about to bring me on to my next question. How did it go for you tonight? It looked like it seemed you had the pace, but just sometimes the luck wasn't on your side.
Frustrating. It definitely got the pace. I mean, P1 in qualifying by a decent margin. Carl's a quick driver, so I was pleased to get fractionally ahead of him. Ditto teammate Edward. He's been quick in the MX5, so that was pleasing. And then you look at my car at the end of it, and the front and sides are all in one piece, and the rear end's been reshaped. And I just it's difficult when you're up front. It is a difficult track to overtake. It can be frustrating, but it just seemed to be a little bit rules went out the window. This championship's it's starting to form into a pretty much a 3-team championship. There's us, Result, and Year One, and I think there's a little bit of team angst getting in.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks like, excuse me, it looks like from what we've seen so far this season, I think even though we've only had about three rounds, 3 rounds, I think it seems to be that I think the championship could be down to, or it could be taken by a driver from either Year One Racing or the Result Clothing, or even one of the Fury SimSport guys.
I think there's so many points in the points count this year that dropping a week seriously hurts you. I dropped last week. I just couldn't avoid it. Real life gets in the way. Tonight I was hoping for a bit more, to be honest. Carl had the best of me in race one. I was struggling with incident count, having been hit 3 times by result cars, and so I couldn't really get another one in. Race 2 was good, and race 3 was just frustrating. Mick and I had a difference of opinion. I had a live spotter. I held my line, and he came up the inside of me where he didn't belong to be. That's the way I see it. If you're going to drive like that, and he's the series organizer, what do you expect?
Yeah, I think. We've seen it on the broadcast, but like we can, as I said to Marco off air, it's kind of you can't. It's a tough call to make because you're not involved in the incident, or you're not like one of the drivers involved in the incident. So I guess it's one of those things. It's always best to leave to the stewards to sort out.
Yeah, I think so. But there was just that particular move. He came from so far back, hit me in the braking zone, and then just continued up my left-hand side, and then shouted that I moved into him, which I didn't. I held my line. There's no room there on the inside. But there you go. Yeah, for us, it was a good race. We were quick. We had the pace. Ed did a good job. Surprised the living daylights out of me coming around me at the first turn. I thought I'd defend it quite nicely to Carl, only to find him balls to the wall on the outside with grip. I didn't know where he came from, but I'd rather it was him than a non-teammate. But kudos to that. That was a good move.
Absolutely. And before you leave, is there anyone that you want to give a thanks to? Any teammates, sponsors, friends, family, or anything like that?
Just the unsung hero is our team manager and crew chief Ed. He's behind the scenes in our ear, talking us around. He does a lot of the setup work and doesn't drive often in MX5. So and the team, thanks for the support. And we haven't got too many sponsors at the moment, but we're hoping to get some. Anyone who wants to donate, feel free. We'll put your name on the car.
Tell Edward that we missed him last Saturday in the Euro V8s and we want him back for next round.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he will be back. I don't quite know what he was doing last Saturday, but he's definitely into it because I did the paint for his car, so it looks nice.
It really looks nice, absolutely.
Thanks very much, guys, and thanks to you again and Apex Racing for the broadcast. It's always appreciated.
Thanks, Jez, and thanks for popping in, and we'll look forward to see you on track next week.
Yeah, you will do. Cheers.
I think Marco, that's about it for this evening. But before we call it a wrap, I think I think we should give a little or say how or tell people how they can follow us on social media if you want to do the honors.
Absolutely. You can find us on different streaming platforms, of course on YouTube, since you are watching here. Most of our races are also rebroadcasted on Twitch, Apex Racing TV, on Facebook, Apex Racing TV as well. And you can also find us on Twitter as well. And I think also we have an Instagram account, if I'm not mistaken. So really there is no way you can miss us on the social media platforms. And of course a reminder that a couple of our series, the World GT on Mondays and the BSR MX5 Pro Series on Tuesday, are broadcasted on the iRacing Esports Network. So you can find those there, and the next day, if you miss the live coverage, you can watch them on this channel here on demand. But otherwise, these series here that we broadcast on this channel are immediately available if you want to catch them back and if you want to see you race. It's always nice to watch your race from the outside. Also, we remind you that on Friday and Sunday we are free, so if you want to book your series for those days, we are available. And speaking of series, I think tomorrow is tomorrow is the tomorrow is Tuesday, of course, so it's not Wednesday. But don't forget, if you happen to still be up and you live, or already up and you live in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Singapore, and all those nice countries in that part of the world, we are broadcasting at 8:45 GMT the IMSA SOF race for the Oceanic region. So the Aussie crew will take care of that tomorrow morning. So I think you will absolutely have fun there. Join, and of course, also we have the Le Mans Series live on Wednesdays at 7 GMT. So that's also a part of the show. On Wednesday we also have the World F3. On Thursdays the BSR TC will be back with the media day, and at the same time we also have the Sim Racers World, who is possibly moving to Wednesdays next season. We will keep you posted on that. Saturdays, one Saturday on and the other off. We have the Euro V8s, not this week sadly. And Monday we are back with the regular scheduled programming. Also, don't forget Rikmotech is tonight, so don't miss that as well. I think tonight it's the World Challenge, so the GT3s will be, and the GTEs will be part of the show of Rikmotech tonight. So Ryan, of course, always a lot of stuff to follow, and hopefully you join us. We want to thank you for being with us tonight, and also for showing a lot of passion and following to us. On last Wednesday, the Le Mans Series broadcast from Monza has been the most watched broadcast in the last 365 days of our channel. So thank you very much, and hopefully we get a similar crowd Wednesday evening when we are racing in Silverstone. Seems like the viewers really love those Le Mans Series races, Ryan, and I cannot wait. And of course, thank you also to Joseph Ringros who joins me for those nice broadcasts, Ryan. So yeah, hopefully one of these days you will keep me company on Wednesday nights when Joseph is not available.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed the ILMS broadcast. I should say, as I tried to get my words out. Yeah, I enjoyed commentating on them last season at times, and yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it again when Joseph can't make it. So yeah, like Marco says, if you're into sports car racing and multi-class racing and you want to watch it, check out the iRacing Le Mans series on a Wednesday evening with Marco and Joseph, and yeah, they do a good job as always, and yeah, I'm not sure of anything what to say. So I think Marco, in that case, Marco, we should call. I think we'll probably call it a wrap, as they say in America.
I think it's time, yeah, to go away from this beautiful track and give these fans and viewers, for tomorrow morning then with the IMS series, and I think Ryan, yeah, tomorrow evening for the BSR. So do the honors to call this a night.
Absolutely. So yeah, thanks to everyone that's tuned in to watch the BSR MX5 Monday Cup as always. Uh, yeah, and hopefully we'll see you back next week for more of the same and more bright racing between all the drivers in this fantastic series. So from me and Marco, we wish you a good night, and we will see you next time.